It feels like every few seasons, 2 or 3 weeks in, fans decide that this is the worst NFL reffing has ever been. Well, it's getting hard to look past some of the missed calls, and a great example of this came in the Chiefs-Falcons game last night, which, I mean, it was all eyes on that. It was a late game, so it's kind of a tough look. But I'll play it. You guys can decide. Falcons down, 1 score, 4 minutes left. 3rd and 5, they take a shot. Kyle Pitts gets basically mauled in the air. The official is right there. No call. I mean, when you see that much contact, I just automatically expect pass interference, and Collingsworth is right.
That was a lot of contact, wasn't it?
By Bryan Cook.
The receiver didn't have a chance to make the play. Even without him picking him up, it's probably pass interference. It's just unreal levels here. Anyway, this one to me is pretty clear. I covered the rest of the game in a video last night. Does seem like there were some makeup calls, but this is bad. And it being the Chiefs, well, doesn't help the NFL. Speaking of, obviously there was controversy last week in the Bengals game with that defensive pass interference, which was called. For the record, I do think under the rules you have to call that, though I'm not sure I agree with the rule generally. But that's not the only questionable reffing decision I want to talk about, nor is it the only one openly questioned on an NFL broadcast. So, in short, Dak Prescott is sacked in the end zone, but going down, he throws the ball to his lineman, Tyler Smith. Linemen obviously are ineligible receivers, or at least to be clear, linemen are usually ineligible receivers. There are some formations where they can be eligible if they declare, but that didn't happen here. He's called for illegal touching, which is basically a rule meant to prevent ineligible receivers and those who have went out of bounds from touching the ball. But the broadcast explained, given that there was no eligible receiver here, this really should have been intentional grounding in the end zone and thus a safety. Like, to me, this is 2 separate penalties, an illegal touch outside the end zone and intentional grounding inside the end zone. And obviously in that case, the penalty which causes the safety supersedes. And I looked at the rule specifically. Intentional grounding is defined as a forward pass without a realistic chance of completion. A realistic chance of completion is defined as a pass, and this is key, that is thrown in the direction of and lands in the vicinity of an originally eligible offensive receiver. You don't often see intentional grounding when someone catches it, but the rule is pretty clear. A realistic chance of completion only counts when it's an originally eligible receiver in the area, so this is a blown call, in my opinion. If you want to argue it's a fumble or something else, you can, but that's not how the ref saw it, given that they called the illegal touching play. And a lineman can recover a fumble, no problem. Unless it's intentionally forward, but again, that's a completely different penalty.